So, 100,000 subscribers. As I've said when I had like 10,000, this is beyond my wildest expectations. Like, I can barely articulate the feelings. But you probably don't care about that. Right now, you care about what I decided to do for it. Let me get this out of the way right this second before you do anything serious. SpongeBob SquarePants is not going to be on this list. This is for a couple of reasons. Number one, if I chose it, I'd have to include most of the good episodes too. And number two, most of the worst episodes of SpongeBob aired in 2010 or later. I mean, A Pal for Gary aired January 2nd, 2010, if you want to judge things that way. And considering that I've been around the block, it has come to my attention that there are many, many worse things than SpongeBob. Even modern SpongeBob. What I'm saying is fight the real enemy. They say that imitation is the sincerest form of flattery, but flat out ripping off is the sincerest form of insult. Remember when I reviewed Bubsy from like forever ago? Well, the character was played by Rob Paulsen, a very talented and famous voice actor. I bring him up because this is the role that he hated doing the most, more than Bubsy. And yeah, I can totally say it with this annoying protagonist. The only reason that this show is number 10 is because it's the only one that I could. Now, my own rules prevent me from putting adult party cartoon on this list, thank the Lord. But I don't really want my number one to be completely obvious. I do want to bring it up though. In that show, from what I can gather, the network forced John K to throw in a bunch of vulgar shit because they thought it would sell better. The other show he did in the 2000s kind of has the opposite problem. The network censors were very harsh on the ripping friends. They decided that in order for the show to be successful, everything and everyone needed to be perfectly on model. The show was made by a guy who didn't use the same facial expression for his characters twice. Look, I'm not the biggest fan of gross out, but when you design a show to be something, you should at least let the show be that thing. Don't get John K to do your show if you don't want it to be kids at this. I'm sorry. A lot of people like this show, but I absolutely cannot stand it. The 2000s were a terrible decade for adult animation in particular. You want some dishonorable mentions for this list? Try every single cartoon from Spike TV's animation block. Granted, every so often you get something as poignant as Boondocks or as timeless as God, the Devil, and Bob. But 9 times out of 10, you got a show that wanted nothing more than to be South Park. They wanted to steal all of its success and reputation, but they didn't want to
Self to relieve the pain.
That's just about the worst theme song I've ever heard in my life. How could the Scooby spin-off, with the best theme song ever, be followed by the one with the worst? If you do, annoying. What else can I say? I'm not even gonna beat around the bush, you knew it was coming, Lunatics Unleashed. Yeah, I can't mention one terrible spin-off without bringing up the other. Just like taking superheroes and making them 100% comedic doesn't work out, taking 100% comedic characters and making them superheroes doesn't work either. I'm just saying, this show is not playing to its strengths. Now, here's the strange thing about Lunatics Unleashed. I wouldn't actually mind if they wanted to do a pure superhero show, but they don't. First off, the action for adults. Don't give it up, Lupe. Don't give it up, Zola. God damn it. For Kids, a company that works heavily with animation and with anime, brought us this disaster piece. In Japan, even cartoons aimed towards kids can be a lot more openly adult. But being a company that dubs Japanese anime into English, 4Kids didn't understand any of Japanese culture. Insulting the intelligence of kids, and insulting the intelligence of fans of the source material, and that god-awful rap theme. Hey look, you want my opinion of the show without the rhyming gimmick? This is one of the most ill-formed cartoons ever made. It does literally everything wrong. Every character is annoying. The bad guy always wins every single time. The good guy isn't even that good in comparison. The plots do nothing new or original. There's random bouts of gross out. The character designs are lazy, and they only stand out because of that stupid line gimmick. The plots are stupid. Have you noticed anything? Yeah, I've laid these complaints about so many other shows before this because nothing about the show is original. It doesn't even fail in a unique or original way. For me to review the boringly bad. Funny story, the owners of Pixel Pinky actually copyrighted claimed my original review. I fought it and I got it back up because they would have to sue me in America and they're an Australian company, but still, if this video goes anywhere, you'll know why. Unfortunately for the owners of Pixel Pinky, this show just had to make the list. You think that Johnny Test is lazy? You haven't seen fucking show on television. You don't even need to put in any effort into it.
Gnarly half pipe. Tony Hawk it later, homie.
Tony Hawk it later. What? Like what? Da Boom Crew is one of the most unbearable shows I've ever seen. It's top 10 bad. I'm not even kidding here. I know what you're saying. Only 4 episodes were ever aired, so this show can't be on the list. Nope. All 13 episodes were actually aired on television. In England. Because it was originally When I started out this list, I knew what was going to be my number 1 immediately. It was so painfully bad that I stopped watching it the first time 4 minutes in. And then I watched this show, The Nut Shack, which proved to be even worse. Let's start off with the fact that the theme song is the worst that I've heard in my life, which is always a great start.